you prepare as thoroughly as you can. The guys play their asses off.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
That you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. If they are who we thought they were, when we let them off the hook.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Gather around, Skull Brothers and Sisters. This is Skull Rants, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Now, Brian Flores is back, right? I didn't think he was going to be back, but for some reason, he has passed over again to our benefit. Almost want him for 2 years. I definitely want him for 2 more years if we can, because I feel like that is a solid, wide open door for us to really go for it. The only thing really holding us back, in my opinion, is the unknown about our quarterback. But we're going to talk about the defense and why that will just shimmy that door open, even if we have a JJ McCarthy or God knows bringing Sam Darnold back. Why it's possible. Brian Flores came to us after probably the worst defensive showing I've ever seen in franchise history, 2022. Even though we won 13 games, try to tell me Kirk Cousins didn't have anything to do with that, because that defense was absolutely horrible. We relied on our offense and mainly our skill positions because our offensive line wasn't very good either. And Dalvin Cook, even though he was on the downside of his career, boom, was dropping bombs on teams. 5 or 6 of those wins. He had a huge part of bringing us back into some of those, well, maybe four wins. He really had brought us back into winning that game. It was a group effort. Justin Jefferson was awesome that year. Kirk Cousins, comeback king at that time. Everything was rolling. On the offensive skill positions, not necessarily the offensive line, but the defense was horrible. We had a negative point differential. That is nuts for a 13-win team. So what happens? Brian Flores comes in. Thank goodness for thank goodness for Kevin O'Connell's relationship building skills. They had cross paths in New England. He sees him in the off season, I think at a scouting, a pro day. He's seen on the field with them. It's great that he has that relationship building skill that brings us the best coaches in the NFL. It showed it by bringing Flores in. We have an opportunity here to build off of what we've seen. It was the second year of Flores. The first year of Flores started out a little struggling. Then for about a 7 to 9 game period, he was arguably the best defense in the league. Just to have injuries kind of derail it. Honestly, at the end of the season, and then by then we're on our 4th quarterback in 2023. It's tough. He was taking chances, taking risks, didn't have the manpower. Teams were getting penalties or getting yards in chunks. It didn't end well. But last year, I would argue that the defense just got stronger and stronger. I'm going to tell you, and I say last year, we're talking about 2024. I would argue that the last 2 games of the year had nothing to do with Flores' defense, man. You only can bend the stick so far with our offensive piss poor performance those 2 games. If it wasn't for the offense, that defense would have did enough for us to win those games. I'll die on that hill. I I was an original detractor when we signed Flores just because I was like, there was some history there. Well, why did Miami's defenses go for 2 years kind of be mediocre? And it was apparently he wasn't calling the plays for defense. He was managing as a CEO head coach. But when he did take over the play calling in the reports, they were one of the best defenses in the league. And and at he won a Super Bowl. He wasn't the defensive coordinator, but he was the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. For some reason, Belichick doesn't like to give out that title because I guess he was the defensive coach, right? Famously winning the Super Bowl the with the Giants. Now, so Flores comes in, may just we had like crazy statistics, like we were the highest blitz rate, and then we also had the highest dropping back 8 players. It was like no in between. It was like one extreme to the next. Now Flores did adapt as he got better personnel, getting a Van Ginkel, getting a Greener, getting a Cashman, really started to change the way he could call a game. He got personnel that fit his scheme better, you know. So that was important. And then we hit on every single free agent. And then unfortunately Kyrie Jackson dies. I had high hopes for that guy. I was calling him CB1, and I wasn't lying because I thought he had that great of ability. So that's going to go down as one of the bigger heartbreaks in our drafting career because I thought he was going to be great, unfortunately. But we didn't sit by, and we got Gilmore to come in. We got the other corner. Now flexibility with Byron Murphy Jr. That's great. So let's talk about some next gen stats. There's an article by Rob Keifeld, senior editor. This is Vikings.com. And let's talk about that. So let's bring that up a little bit. Oh, yeah. Let's get some. Okay. So, deep dive into next gen stats for Vikings defense reveals factors in improvement. Um, so adaptable, aggressive. Let's get this pop up out of here. Production value. Adaptable, aggressive, autonomous. The 3 A's, I guess. I don't know. Minnesota defense didn't have all answers in 2024, but enough for an A+ on its report card. Second-year Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores worked wonders matching an influx of free agents with versatile core. His blitz-laced scheme sparked 49 sacks, 33 takeaways, and 24 interceptions. Well, the takeaways, I think 24 of those were interceptions. So yeah, what did we get? Nine fumble recoveries. That's great. Furthermore, Minnesota's defense tightened security on weighty downs, letting opponents convert on 4th down, lowest clip in the league, and 37.1 at the fourth lowest rate on 3rd down, 35.6. So they were lowest on 4th down and fourth on 3rd down. So great improvement. Honestly, it wasn't that great his first year. And it shows here. Totals reflected improvements from Flores' first season, dialing offensive play calls for the Vikings, defensive play calls for the Vikings, when his group forced 11 fewer turnovers. So he had 11 more in 2024, missed 21 more tackles. So they tightened it up in 2024. They had 21 less. Surrender. Sorry. Sorry, a little bit of cough. Surrendered a smidge more, 21 points per contest. Um, so they scored more points. We gave up some points, and it hurt a little bit because we gave up more points in those offensive shit storms we had late in the season. Buckled on an NFL worst 72% on 4th down tries and amassed a passer rating against 95.2. Said a 72% 4th down had a lot to do with our defense of personnel, and it showed. It showed, and it got worse throughout the year in 2023. Amassed a passer rating against of 95.2 compared to the past season mark of 82.4, which was second in the league behind Detroit in 82. Now, all told, the 2024 unit was fifth in points against per game. That's great. Fifth in points, not bad. I think we can get that to number one at 9. And I'll talk about why. At 19.5 and a second with 93.4 average rushing yards allowed. So we were second in rushing defense. We were first most of the year until the last two games. Or last game. The success produced a stingy reputation, not to mention coach and player reactions captured on sidelines, epitomizing the headaches caused by Flo's tactics, an array of statistical career highs, and first-time Pro Bowl honors for Jonathan Grenard, Byron Murphy Jr., and Andrew Van Ginkel. So those guys flourished in his defense. Again, Jonathan Grenard, Byron Murphy Jr., and Andrew Van Ginkel got their first Pro Bowls. They look like world beaters. These guys came into a scheme and just flourished. Van Ginkel, just his inept or his just his ability. I wanted to find a word there. Ability to snuff out interceptions or fumble recoveries. Or just the guy has the knack to be around the ball, to know where to anticipate. That's the word I was looking for. To anticipate, a quick hitter where he just steps right in the ball, disguised behind just so the quarterback can't see him. Byron Murphy just knew where it was going to be thrown and went after it. I mean, some of his, and he missed a few early in the year, and we were worried about him. What the hell? Oh, and then he just balled out the whole year after that. Jonathan Grenard is a force. Is a force. Underpaid. We for his ability, and great decision by Kwesi. His free agency class was amazing. Now, the reason why I say Flores has and I labeled this the Minnesota Vikings defense on the rise is because it's not done yet. His free agency, his draft class that's coming up. Now, unfortunately, we only have 3, potentially 4 draft picks. So it really kind of hurts. Now we can get some UDFAs, but the free agent class is great too. So you get a DJ Reed out of the Jets and re-signed Byron Murphy Jr. We got a cornerback group that's one of the best in the league. Okay. Gilmore was solid. Um, DJ, I think he brings more youth, just fire to the position. The ability to go man on man and just increases, which feeds into what I think Brian Flores wants to do, playing some soft zone, giving up those deep dig routes, or isn't working. It started to get minimized last year, but it was still there or in 2024. I just think being able to man up and go after the quarterback is going to be a big deal. And you finally get another D tackle. Redmond's great because I think he's got that penetration ability, but he's a little over 290, just a little over 290, not the big D tackle you want. He's got explosiveness. You bring in a guy that can stuff that middle or push that line back. I think the big thing would be to collapse that offensive line. You'll get the cornerbacks a gift back there. Safeties, bringing back Cam Bynum, sure, great, but money better spent elsewhere. Same way with I think we could get Harrison Smith to come back cheap again for another year. You got Theo Jackson that's going to step up, and Metellus is solid. I think he needs to stay in his role though. He's much more effective there. I don't think you're going to want to put him in center field. He's just shown some bad angles and getting caught on double moves or just quick moves by receivers. Getting lined up on a receiver is not great. But if you're playing center field, we haven't really seen him there yet. We'll see. I like the fact that you go Theo Jackson replace Cam Bynum if we can't afford him. I love Cam Bynum. I love him. I just don't know if safety, more money into the safety position when we should be putting in more money at a lockdown corner. It's just a trade-off. Again, I won't be sad we keep him. I won't be sad. But if you bring back Byron Murphy Jr., he has that flexibility of playing nickel inside, and then you bring back, you sign a top cornerback like DJ Reader. You're looking at DJ Reed. Now I forgot his name. Now you bring back DJ from the Jets, or you bring him in. You now have you solved problems. Give me a badass defensive lineman, a wrecker in there. You give me that corner. You bring back Byron Murphy Jr. I feel like we're solid at every other position. Every other position. Just and then you got the pieces, man. You got the pieces. And Flores may not be past his blackballing that's going on. I think he's grown at a coach. I think he's going to be a head coach again. It might be after next year, but we just got a gift, a third year of Flores to show what we can do. Now we're going to probably have to be focusing on who's the quarterback? Can JJ McCarthy take over? Bringing back a Sam Darnold, or having a veteran win the job over JJ McCarthy coming in. That's all up in the air. I think I'm 90%. I'm gonna lower it. I just don't know. I made up this point. Kwesi does, if he needs to sign an extension and he'd make a decision better on the fact that he'll know he's gonna be here, of putting JJ McCarthy in there and letting him start his career. I'm about 75, maybe 70% sure we're gonna go with JJ McCarthy this year. We'll see. We'll see. So just do it, Kwesi. Just do it. Take off the training wheels this year. I know it's a little scary because he's coming off an injury, but Flores' defense is gonna fix some mistakes, some turnovers deep in our end zone, some holding on the ball and getting strip sacks. Defense is gonna hold them. So what a time with Flores as your defensive coach to put JJ McCarthy out there, knowing that his defense is going to have his back. That's it for today, guys. Skull Vikings, cue the music.
You prepare as thoroughly as you can. The guys play their asses off.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
That you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris? If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them